So good day guys, and welcome to this video. In this video we're going to be talking about Python data types and casting. Now, data types in a programming language is simply the type of data you're working with. For example, we could have a string, we could have an integer, we could have a float. In Python we could have what we call the list. So let's get into it so that you get what I'm saying. First of all, I'm gonna clean everything here. Okay, and so let me create a variable called a equals to first, b equal to 1, c equals okay, and d equals now these are different data types, as you can see. Let me go ahead and add one more. E equals now the first one, as we've already seen before, is called a string, and whenever a programming language sees a string, it takes it literally as it is. It doesn't interpret it or something like that. It just takes it literally as it is. And the way we declare strings and we write strings is by writing them inside a quotation mark. Now the next data type, as you can see here, is called an integer. Integers are basically numbers, especially whole numbers. You could have 1, 2, 300 and so on. So if the data type, that type of data, is called an integer. The next one you can see here, our c, the one that is assigned to our variable c on line 3, is called a list. Later we're going to be looking at list. What is a list? How does list work? But for now, let's just take it as this particular data is of type list. This one here, as you can see, is a complex number, and e on line 5 is called float. Now if you want to check the data type of a given set of data in Python, you simply use what we call type. So I'm going to say type a, because I want to get what type my a is. Then I'm going to run that, but nothing is going to happen because I have to print out the answer. So I'm going to put my type a inside a print. Now the only time you use semicolons, just like when we printed hello world in print, is when you are trying to print out a string directly. But whenever you're trying to print out a variable, whenever you're trying to print out a function like this type, you don't use quotation marks. Please take note of that. So I'm going to print this out to run it, and you can see it has told me that it is classed string. This str here means string. Now let's check what type our b is. Run that, and you see it is of type int. That means integer. Run that, and as you can see, it is of type list, just as we said. So our c is of type list. Then we check out our d, run that, and you see our d is a complex, as you can see written down here. We check out our e, and as you can see, our e is a float. Basically, floats are usually numbers that have decimal points. Now there's what we call casting in programming languages. Casting simply means converting a given set of data from one data type to another. For example, let's take b for example. If I want to change b, which is already an int, to a string, all I have to do is to do this. Now I want to change b, which is already an int, into a string, and then store it inside a new variable called f. So I'm going to say f is equal to int b. So it means that I'll take my b, which has 1 inside it, and then I'll convert it. Okay, it's already an integer, so I'll convert it to a string. Then I'm gonna run that. Now nothing showed obviously, but it has already converted it. So let me print type f. Now if I want to print something that is here, I have to take my print from up here and bring it down here, because in programming there's what we call a flow. I cannot put my print up. For example, now I want to print type f, so I cannot take my print from here and put it up here because my f is down. So I have to put it down here. Type f, run, and as you can see, our f is now a string. Now you cannot convert some data from one type to another, but basically you can convert, let's say, a string to an integer. If the string is a number, for example, yes, you can convert it to an integer. You can most likely always convert an integer to a string, and so on and so forth. So in the next video we'll be talking about string. We'll be looking more at string operations that are done on string. So see you in the next video.